Hi Mum! You do everything for everyone else. Let me help you make your life easier. Quick, short information to make you empowered and remind you why you are so important. Because if you don't know what's on the menu, how can you choose what's right for you? Hi, I'm Elena, Director of my private practice Supportive Therapy, an everyday Aussie mum trying not to lose my biscuits at my kids. As a mental health professional, I'm here to share my secrets so no other mother feels alone or powerless. Knowledge is power, and I want you to be powerful. Think of it like I'm your mindset coach through all of this. Everything is backed by science and psychology. I believe in you, and I want you to be the best version of yourself. To be happy and to feel in control, you need to be mentally strong. Hi everyone, welcome back to Mentally Strong Mums. This episode is going to be very common and familiar at this time of year. It's an emotional hangover. So I've had a lot of clients come in lately and due to one thing or another or events. I think someone even went to a funeral or something the other day and they don't feel well the next day, or it takes them a little while, or they feel flat, or they feel burnt out, right? So this is understanding emotional hangovers. And emotional hangovers are essentially understanding the aftershock of overwhelm and how to be able to heal from it or have compassion for yourself with it. So sometimes it can also feel like, those days when everything just feels too much. Even after the moment passed, your body stays stuck in that overwhelm. Or sometimes if you're neurodiverse and you've had to mask the entire time, right? Or you've got all these Christmas parties to go to with people that you don't know or you wouldn't voluntarily hang out with, right? And sometimes as well, You've tried to be able to be present and you've tried to be happy, but all of that tiredness comes and kind of just lingers with you, right? So these are all the elements of an emotional hangover, especially sometimes you feel okay during the day with it all and then it kind of all catches up with you, right? So an emotional hangover is the residual mental or emotional and physical exhaustion that lingers after a heightened emotional event. So it's the aftershock. It's like the afterquake, right? So because you've had to put in a lot in that day, or you've processed a lot during the day, or you've had to mask so much during the day, or even if it's been a sequence of things that you've had to be able to do. This emotional hangover is all this residual kind of stuff. Sometimes for some people it feels different. Sometimes it feels brain fog, low motivation. Sometimes it also feels like sadness or that numbness, like that complete emotional numbness. Sometimes it feels like physical fatigue or exhaustion. Sometimes it's also tension, right? It can also look like dissociation, so you're disconnecting from yourself and you want to disconnect from other people. It's like this strong urge to withdraw, shut down, or even just check out, And even though this might sound a lot, these are really quite normal, a normal response for these really heightened events that kind of happen, or emotionally taxing events, right? So these aren't just moods. These are your nervous system still processing what's happening, okay? And especially for a mum trying to manage everything with the mental load of everything, potentially even people-pleasing kind of stuff where you overcommit to different things. Sometimes tragedies happen that you have to be able to be there for and support other people as well. All of this is emotionally exhausting, especially when we come to the end of the year and everyone's already burnt out as it is. Kids are done, partners done, friends, they want to catch up, but it's very difficult as well. So this emotional hangover, you can understand that if it's all of these different events over and over and over and over again, it can almost be this long-lasting emotional hangover that then turns into this feeling or sensation of burnout, right? So understanding why emotional hangovers happen. So when you go through these intense emotional experiences, or you have to mask for long periods of time, sometimes it's exhaustion when you have a big conflict with your partner on a day and it's not resolved and you have an emotional hangover the next day. Sometimes because you're burnout and you're not coping very well, it might even look like you blowing up or losing your biscuits or yelling at your kids, right? And then the emotional hangover the next day. Sometimes it can be associated with receiving bad news or even managing this complete overstimulation at this point of the year that we all kind of go through. Your body then floods with stress, like cortisol. Cortisol's the stress hormone. Adrenaline's generally that shaking feeling. So that's flooded your body as well. So it's not just emotional, it's that neurological, hormonal, and then sometimes even the immune-related response. And you can imagine as well, when you have a big day or a big event or a big blow-up, a big conflict or something huge has happened, generally that night you're not going to sleep very well either. So that also compounds to that emotional hangover the next day, right? It's not what happens in the moment that causes burnout and what doesn't happen after it. Do you know what I mean? So for mums, because sometimes we put so much pressure on ourselves, we've got this huge mental load, especially mums that are still working or single mums that everything's on their shoulders. We often push through emotions instead of processing them. So sometimes with my clients, I describe it like a tunnel. It's like I keep on going through this tunnel. I just have to go through. I just have to get to the other end. It's just this constant tunnel. There's literally no time to be able to stop and to look up and around about what's happening, essentially processing what's happening, because it's just get through the day, just get through this, just keep on going, one foot in front of the other, just, right? So that's why it looks like mums push through emotions instead of processing them. And then that also contributes to that emotional hangover, the fatigue, wanting to withdraw, and dissociating kind of stuff. So sometimes as well for females, sometimes it's just easier to apologize quickly to keep the peace, shove it under the rug, right? Sometimes we then ignore our own needs so that the people around us are okay. We ignore our needs so that the kids are okay, or hubby's okay, or your work colleagues are okay. Sometimes we go from meltdown to dinner without a moment to breathe. And if you've had big days, and the kids have had big days, your tasks still need to get done. So it's still the kitchen time, the dinner time, the bath time, the shower time, the cleaning the teeth, all of the stuff, the tasks still continue, right? So sometimes then you might, because you're in that tunnel, I'm just tired, or I'll get over it, right? But these emotional hangovers, if they're left unprocessed, they accumulate like Lego. So everyone knows Lego, especially if you got, gender neutral. Everyone kind of knows Lego. So you can imagine this thing happens and this Lego's here. And then this thing happens and then this Lego's here. And then I've had a fight with this person, that Lego's here. I've had to self-silence and I can't use my words, that Lego's here. I've had to people please, that one's here. I mask all day at the Christmas party that I hate, another Lego on top of that. Oh, it's the kids' graduation and I have to be there and then mingle with other parents, that's another Lego. Hubby's burnout as well, and we're not communicating effectively, that's another Lego, okay? So imagine all these Legos on top of each other. They just keep on compounding and keep on compounding and keep on going. So you can easily understand with all these Legos, without processing them or taking a Lego off or being there for yourself, if you don't realize this is happening, the emotional hangovers or the fatigue and the burnout slowly increase, right? So sometimes it looks like these sudden emotional breakdowns, just like this one little thing just tips you over and you just lose it, right? Sometimes it also looks like there's a panic attack out of nowhere. You're just sitting in your car and you dropped your kids off and then you just have a panic attack, and you're like, where did that come from, right? There's another one of feeling resentful or numb in relationships. That can also, even though that might be romantic, it can also be friendships. It can also be with your children. It can also be with colleagues. And remember, resentment is part of the envy family. So if you're resentful in some way, you're envious or jealous of something, and if that's not resolved, it then turns into anger, because anger is the primary emotion. Maybe we need to do another emotional intelligence podcast. Anyways, and then the last one is that emotional dysregulation, and then with some people it looks like autoimmune flares, because you're on empty, you're going through this tunnel, all the Lego is piling up. Your body doesn't have the immune system to kind of look after yourself. Sometimes it looks like a sinus infection, or it looks like a flare-up in your PCOS or endo. Sometimes it just looks like these headaches that they're just every day, right? And so you can understand your body's trying to communicate with you and go, just stop. But if I have to keep on going, or if I've got my to-do list, or it's the silly season and I've got to, you're then going to ignore your body and going to continue to the things that you kind of have to do, right? So there's essentially 5 phases of an emotional hangover. So one, I don't know, I've got to put this hand down, all right, because I'll lower my hands. So first is the trigger. The trigger is this conflict, or it's overstimulation. It can be confrontation. Can even be a memory. It can be masking, right? 2, the peak is crying or yelling or freezing. It can also be dissociation, and it can also be emotional overwhelm, right? 3, the crash is that exhaustion, the fatigue, the numbness. Sometimes for people it looks like guilt or shame. Sometimes it looks like emotional collapse. I'm ashamed that I can't handle it, or I feel guilty because of this, or I don't feel good enough because of that, right? 4 is the hangover, because you can see that peak of stuff. The hangover is your body's way trying to process it, as we said before. Sometimes it can last for hours. Sometimes it can last for days. It's that mental fog, that low energy. Sometimes it looks like irritability, and sometimes it just looks like sadness for no reason, right? 5, hopefully, this is what we need to work on. 5 is the integration. If you pause to process what's happened, start taking some of your Lego off, stop and hop out of the tunnel and look around. This is when healing happens. Okay? Because if not, and it keeps on going, there is the potential to have that kind of complete burnout, or even that stored trauma kind of stuff, right? So you can see how all of this is very logical, whether it be a one-off event like going to a funeral and then having that emotional hangover the next day, whether it's a sequence of events like at the silly season, there's a graduation this day, a Christmas party this way, and then a birthday this day, and then obviously, right? So it's about understanding your body and what you need. So when we want to look at that emotional hangover and trying to integrate or process it or even recover, it's not about fixing it or solving it. It's about acknowledging it, for starters, and then honoring what's happening, right? So 1, as we did in that last episode about anxiety and that somatic awareness, somatically understand when you feel this overwhelm or burnout or fatigue or exhaustion or hangover, where is it in your body? Where are you holding it? So some people hold it in their jaw, some people hold it in your gut, some people hold it in their shoulders. Breathe into it, name it, stay with it, right? You can even do a progressive muscle relaxation exercise, whether you listen or search my previous podcast or find a really good one on YouTube. Somatic awareness, where are you holding all of this tension, the stress, all of the stuff, right? 2, look at curiosity and compassion with a little self-reflection. What triggered all of this? What need was unmet in that moment? Did I betray myself to keep the peace? Don't try and solve it or fix it. Just acknowledge what's going on. Right? 3, rest without guilt. Okay? You don't need to be productive to earn rest. Take a nap, cancel the thing, sit in the car and cry with a burrito in your hand. Guess what I do? Right? So, if you rest but feel guilty that you're resting, that's not rest. Because your brain still feels guilty, that means you're still heightened. That means even though technically you're sitting down, you're not resting. It's still because your brain, right? Giving yourself permission to rest, even if it's for 10 minutes at a time. Just rest and don't feel guilty in this moment for resting. Number 4 is connection or even containment, right? Do you need a safe space to talk to? Do you just need a little vent? Do you need some time out and some solitude to be able to just recharge your batteries, right? So, do you need to connect? Do you need to vent? Do you need to let things go? Or do you need that solitude, that recharge, that peace, that processing, journaling, listening to music, or going for a walk, going for a run? Do you know what I mean? Sometimes then if you don't have that safe person to vent to, sometimes journal or even talk to text or a voice note to yourself and just getting it out of your body, right? Even if no one's there, just get it out of your body, okay? And then maybe once you've done all of this and processed it, that's what it looks like to process it, you're able to then reframe. So this is a part of CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. Reframe the situation that you're in. Look at it from a new perspective, as if you're putting a new frame on it. Realizing that this isn't a weakness, it's a signal. This emotional hangover means that I felt, or I'm overwhelmed, or I put too much on my plate. And that's okay. This is a normal response for me doing that. I can survive this moment. My body is very wise. Sometimes I just want to drag my body with me all the time, but realistically, give it a minute. Do you know what I mean? So then when we reflect upon emotional intelligence, when we heal from emotional hangovers out loud, we can then model this self-awareness and recovery for our kids, right? Because they're tired, they're burnt out, they have big days too, do you know? And so they monkey see, monkey do. So whatever you do and what strategies you do, whether they do them with you, they will pick it up and they will eventually copy it. The amount of times that people come in here and say, oh, my mum does that. I didn't know that I did that, but I must have copied that from my mum because I realised I'm turning into my mum. You be that mum that does all of these beautiful things for yourself so that your kids can learn all of this stuff and then accidentally one go, oh, my mum used to do that. I do that all the time. Well, my mum used to do that. I now do that too. You know, all of that. So sometimes if you lose your biscuits at the kids, depending on their age, talk to them about it. Take accountability and heal from that. So remember that rupture and repair. Mummy had big feelings earlier and my body's still calming down. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to lose my biscuits at you. Are you okay? Can I have a cuddle? No, you're not ready yet? That's okay. Whenever you're ready for a cuddle, I'll try again soon, okay, honey? I'm just going to take some space to try and rest. Sometimes even with mine, I say, listen, I'm giving myself a time out. Or I just need a time out. I go, okay, Mum, whatever. But it is, I just need a time out, okay? That's how I take care of my brain. And then I'll come back and I'll cook you some popcorn, right? Sometimes when we feel too much, it takes a while to feel better, and that's okay. And then if you've got emotional kids, they can relate to that. So you're then accidentally on purpose giving them language to articulate what's going on for them as well. Oh, Mum, I do that too. You do what, honey? I have big emotions. Do you? Yeah, I think I feel too much too. You must have got that from me. Hey, yeah, it does take a while to feel better sometimes, doesn't it? Yeah, and that's okay, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, do you want to cuddle? Do you want to lay down and watch a movie with me? Yeah, sure. So that is intergenerational emotional literacy. But you can't do that if you don't know how to do that for yourself. You can't teach that to them if you don't know how to do that for yourself. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes if you've ever asked yourself, why do I feel so drained after conflict? Or why can't I just get over this? Or why am I still crying about something so small? You're not broken. You're not overreacting. It's an emotional hangover. And the more that we honor it and respect and have more compassion and understanding for ourselves, the more mentally strong we become. We can then find the words to articulate to our loved ones around us that what you're going through isn't a weakness. It's a normal part of being a human, okay? You're not a pack horse. You can't carry all the stuff on your back and then when your back breaks, blame your back for breaking. Do you know what I mean? Emotional strength isn't about avoiding breakdowns. It's about recovering with love and self-awareness and softness. Okay? Emotional hangovers. Who would have thought it, hey? They really get ya. And sometimes I'll say to you, it's an emotional hangover. And they'll go, and I'm like, yeah, dude, it's an emotional hangover. Give yourself a break. Just as if you had a normal hangover, you take your Panadol and you have more, you hydrate more. Sometimes you need more carbs or whatever that is that your body and your stomach need. If you're hungover, you kind of know what to do to look after yourself. That gives you that predictability and control. This is an emotional hangover. If you have a big day or a big emotional day or a huge conflict, having that same approach to it where you look after and take care of yourself the next day in a way. All right? Well, I really appreciate your time. If you have any questions, please let me know. But otherwise, emotional hangover people, look after yourself during the silly season. All right, thank you. Bye.